Hello student. Today we are going to start class 8 history chapter number 2 from trade to territory. In this topic we talk about the Britisher come into India and they first came into India for the purpose of trade. They had nothing to do their expense of territory. Now, how all these started and moved from trade to territory would be discussed in this class. So, let's start the chapter from trade to territory. The subtitle of the chapter is The Company Established Power. This topic from Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb was the last powerful Mughal emperor. He established control over a very large part of the territory that is now known as India, who was already gaining strength because death of Aurangzeb in 1707. Many Mughal governors known as Subadar and big zamindar began asserting their authority and establishing regional kingdoms. Death of Aurangzeb, not only the small Subedar and small Jamidar but British trading authority also started the expanding area and spreading the rule over a larger area of territory. As we all know that the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb died in year 1707. This was the condition which the foreigner as well as native ruler of penetrate into the Indian territory and they spread their rule. Year 1600, the East India Company acquired an agreement from Queen Elizabeth I, which granted it the sole right to trade in East. A charter was a royal order giving from the exclusive right to trade into a particular area. As soon as acquired the charter in their hand, the East India Company was the only British company that could trade in India from Britain. Primary motive of trade was buying cotton, silk, and spices at very cheap price and sell them out in the different area of high prices. It gave them a huge amount of profit and by attaining the right of trading in area. However, the Portuguese were the first to establish their base in the western coast of India in Goa. By the early 17th century, the Dutch and the French also arrived in Goa. Due to the increasing competition among the European companies, the demand for goods rose. Therefore, the goods become expensive. Increasing of competition from these foreign countries, a very tough competition was faced by each and every company. Everyone wanted to be acquire new market area. Everyone wanted to buy the product at the cheapest price and everyone wanted to make huge profit as possible as the trading activity. This rise of the competition sometimes also got rush and the illuminate by the rival competition and lot of activity practices where different nations, for example, they would hire pirates who would plunder their ships. They used to block their routes and such kind of activity practices. Eliminating rival competitor was the only way by the which trading companies could flourish. This led to the fierce battle between the trading companies. Effort to the fortify settlement and carry on the profitable trade led to the intense conflict with the local rulers too. East India Company begins in Bengal. In 1651, on the bank of the river Hooghly, the first English factory was set up. The company made the expansion of trade. By 1696, the company started building a fort around the area of settlement. After 2 years, the company bribed the Mughal official into giving them jamidari rights over three villages. One of the village was the Calicut or Kolkata. Now, our next topic is how trade led to battles. In Bengal, Bengal became independent by Murshid Quli Khan. After Murshid Quli Khan, next ruler was the Alivardi Khan. They both very powerful. After the Alivardi Khan, next Nawab of Bengal is Sirajuddaulah. Sirajuddaulah became the Nawab of Bengal in 1756. The company started to invest in the affair of Sirajuddaulah. When the negotiation failed, the Nawab and his 30,000 soldiers captured the official of the company and disarmed all the Englishmen. They also locked the company warehouse and blocked the English ship. He then marched to the Calcutta to establish his control over the company's fort. When the news of the company's fall in Calcutta spread, the company official in Madras sent force under the command of Robert Clive, and this took place the Battle of Plassey. In 1757, the Robert Clive led company's army marched against Sirajuddaulah at Plassey. The Nawab was defeated as one of his commander, Mir Jafar, never fought the battle because he was promised to be made the Nawab by the Robert Clive. The Battle of Plassey became famous because it was the first major victory of the company in India. After the Battle of Buxar, the company started appointing residents in the Indian state. After the victory of Battle Plassey, company started the expanding their rule, and they continue. Sub subsidiary alliance. They were to be protected by the company, though they had to pay huge amount for his protection. Indian ruler failed to make these payment. A part of their territory was be taken away from the company. Tipu Sultan is also called the Tiger of Mysore. Mysore grew in the strength under the leadership of powerful rulers such as Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan. Mysore controlled the trade at Malabar coast from the where the company purchased paper and the cardamom. In the year of 1785, Tipu Sultan stopped the export of paper, cardamom, and the sandalwood through his kingdom port. He was also restricted the local merchant from the trading with the company. The Tipu Sultan modernized his army with the help of the French, with whom he shared a close relationship. Out of the four wars that the company fought with the Mysore, the company managed to win only the last one, the Battle of Seringapatnam. The Maratha were divided into dynasties such as the Sindhia, Holkar, and Gaikwad and Bansol. War with the Maratha, the dynasty were held together in the conference headed by the chief called Peshwa. Three Anglo-Maratha War were fought. First ended in 1782 with the Treaty of Salwai. Second Anglo-Maratha War in 1803 to 1805. War with the Maratha is Third Anglo-Maratha War in 1817 to 19. It crushed the Maratha power. From the early 19th century, the company practiced in the aggressive policy of territorial expansion under the Lord Hastings. This is the claim to permanency. Lord Hastings instituted a new policy of the permanency, which meant the company's power was greater than that the Indian state. It was justified in the annexing or threatening to the annex any Indian kingdom. In late 1830s, the East India Company became worried about the Russia as it imagined that the Russia might expand across Asia and enter India from the northeast. Driven by the fear, the company fought a long war with the Afghanistan and successfully established indirect company rule there. Sindh was the taken over and Punjab was the next in line. The presence of Maharaja Ranjit Singh restricted the company for a long time. However, after two long war with the Sikh kingdom, Punjab was finally annexed in 1849. In last, company used the policy of doctrine of lapse or policy of lapse. The Lord Dalhousie, Governor General from 1848 to 1856, devised a policy called the doctrine of lapse. This policy declared that if the Indian ruler died without a male heir, then the kingdom would lapse and become a part of company's territory. Many kingdoms were annexed by the applying this doctrine. A few of those states are listed in the table. One of them is Satara in 1848, Sambalpur 1850, Udaipur 1852, Nagpur 1853, Jhansi 1854, and Awadh 1856. Warren Hastings was the Governor General from 1773 to 1785, who known as the setting up a new administrative policy in India. One of them is the division of presidency. The British Indian Territory were divided into three presidency, each headed by the governor. First is Bengal. First presidency is Bengal, second one is the Madras, and third one is the Bombay. System of justice. In 1772, a new system of justice was introduced by the Warren Hastings. First one is the each district was to have two court. First one a criminal court that known as the Fauzidari Adalat, and second one the civil court that known as the Diwani Adalat. From the 1820s, the technology used in the warfare changed and the cavalry requirement of the company army declined. The company's army had to keep up with the changing military requirement, and thus the infantry regiment became more important. In the early 19th century, the British started developing a uniform military culture. In that, soldiers were given European style training and were subjugated to drill and the discipline. Establishment of the colonial power. Over a period of time, the East India Company was transformed from a trading company to territorial colonial power. With the arrival of the steam technology, it took only 3 weeks to reach the India from the Britain by sea. The technology was the invention of steam engine. More Britishers and their family came to India and established here. By 1857, the East India Company had virtually the whole India under its control. So, a small trading company became a territorial power of India. So, I hope student you understand how a small company become a territorial power in India. For better understanding, you go through your NCRT book History, chapter number 2, from trade to territory. So let's see you in next video. के लिए thank you. Bye bye.